Today I'm going to give you 5 gift ideas for electronic musicians. Today's patron shout out goes to Rick to Break. Thank you so very much for the support. Let's get started. The holiday season is in full swing, and for many of us that means gift giving. Now it is already December 13th, and depending on which holiday you celebrate, you may have missed your deadline to order something online and get it in time for said holiday. And if your loved one is an electronic musician and you don't happen to have a local shop, well, you might feel like you just missed out. But I've got 5 items today that you can walk into any department store and pick up super last minute. To use a Christmas example, you could probably walk into your local Target or Walmart on December 24th and pick any of these items up. No problem. They are all super practical, and there is a super high chance that your loved electronic musician will use them at some point. Now, the first item on the list might seem to be a bit odd, but if your loved one has their own space that they use to create electronic music, a small, quality little tape measure makes a great gift. See, electronic musicians are constantly suffering from something we call GAS, or gear acquisition syndrome, which is essentially the constant want and need for new gear. And well, you have to put that gear somewhere and it has to fit on a desk or a table or something, so a tape measure can be a great tool in figuring out where that gear is going to go. Or if you're like me and rearrange your studio every 6 weeks, it seems, a tape measure is an essential piece of gear to just helping avoid chaos and calamity. It keeps expectations in check and it lets you know what's possible in your space, and a small little tape measure, I think, makes a wonderful gift for an electronic musician, or really anyone with their own space for doing anything. This is a good tool. The next item on the list requires you to do a little bit of research because it's simply SD cards. A lot of electronic music gear uses SD cards, whether those be the full-size ones or the itty bitty micro SD cards. A lot of gear uses them, and despite how great technology is in 2024, almost 2025, these little things love to fail, and having extras, having backups is never going to be something anyone ever complains about. So an extra SD card or two always makes a great gift for an electronic musician, as long as they have a piece of gear that actually uses these. That's why I said you're gonna have to do a little bit of research. You're gonna have to, dig in a little bit. In fact, you might just have to ask them, hey, do you need an SD card? And if so, which physical size do you need? What kind of speed do you need? What kind of capacity are you after? Trust me, as long as they have a piece of gear or a computer that uses them, no one is going to complain about an extra SD card or two as a gift. Alrighty, time for number 3. It's just cables. Now, you might think that you need a local shop, a local music shop to get like super specialty cables, but you might be surprised to find out that just a simple, what you might know as an aux cable, works great for a lot of electronic musicians just as a backup. Even if it's just like a crappy Walmart house brand, there's a good chance that just having one of these laying around or even just sitting in its packaging, unopened, is gonna save the day. I can't tell you how many times I've just wanted to test something really quick, and all I've needed is just a simple little 3.5mm audio cable, which is what an aux cable is. And I'll look everywhere and I'll just be like, oh, why can't I find one of these? Why don't I just have one laying right here? And an extra 1 or 2 of these is not gonna break the bank, and there's a good chance it will see some use, maybe even get someone out of a bind. The other type of cable I have here is a USB Type-C. Now there's a whole lot of variation on these. You can have Type-C to B, you can have Type-C to micro B, you can have Type-C to A, which is probably the most common one right now. This is C to C. There's a lot of electronic music gear out there these days that uses Type-C, and this is another area where you'll probably have to do just a little bit of research, but it's, again, another item that no one's gonna complain about having extras of. I'm always looking for just one more Type-C cable to plug something in, whether it be to a piece of gear or my computer. You're never gonna go wrong getting someone some extra cables, I promise. And the best part about these types of cables is that, like I said in the intro, you're gonna be able to find these at your local department store. Any Target or Walmart's gonna have an aux cable or a Type-C cable. Super easy to find. All right, next up is something that I need to use more. It's cable ties. If you don't know what cable ties are, well, you're probably disorganized like me. Cable ties are exactly what they sound like. They wrap around cables, and these ones here Velcro, but the idea is you can bunch them together, you can separate them. It just helps you organize all of your cables, and if you're an electronic musician, you've probably got a rat's nest of cables somewhere, and cable ties have really helped me out. I'm looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 off camera right now above my desk, and I know there's more underneath too, helping all those cables stay organized. No one is ever going to complain about having too many cable ties. They also come in a wide variety of options. Of course, these are Velcro, but they also have like clip-on ones. They have like locking ones or snapping ones. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of options out there. They are really affordable, and like I said, no electronic musician is going to be like, oh, more cable ties? They're always good to have laying around. And finally, the last item on our list is something that I personally do not use, but I know a ton of electronic musicians who do. Post-it notes. See, I'm not organized enough to have Post-it notes and a pen laying around, but so many people out there are. My wife is one of them. I stole these off of her desk that she uses for crafting and things like that. But as a musician, there are so many times when you just want to jot something down really quick. I use a note-taking app in my computer because I can't stand my handwriting, but a lot of people prefer pen and a little piece of paper, and that's what a Post-it note does. So no one's going to complain about that if that's something they use. I probably wouldn't even complain about it. I'm not a jerk. But a decent pen or a pack of pens and a big pack of Post-it notes, not going to break the bank, and is going to make someone who does like taking notes very happy. Again, these are readily available at any department store or office supply store. So there you have it. 5 last-minute gifts for an electronic musician. I'm sure there are many more ideas out there, so leave them down in a comment below. Maybe you'll help out a last-minute shopper. If you did find this video helpful, or at least enjoyable, you can give me a little gift and hit the like button. If you haven't subscribed yet, that's also a great idea as well. Thank you all so very much for being here. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye.